Well, the European Union has criticized the additional restrictions by the Taliban on women's freedom of movement, including the recent barring of women from entering public parks and gyms. It has called on the Taliban to honor obligations under international law, in particular human rights, refugee and humanitarian law.
The European Union on Monday condemned the additional restrictions by the Taliban on women's freedom of movement, including the newly announced rules barring women from entering public parks and gyms. In a statement, the 27-member bloc said that these restrictions are in contradiction to the Taliban's own initial promises. It noted that Afghan women and girls remain deprived of secondary education, face restrictions in their travel and movement, and are excluded from the most aspects of public and economic life. The EU called on the Taliban to honor obligations under international law, in particular human rights, refugee and humanitarian law, and to ensure respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms of all Afghan population. Since the Taliban seized control of Afghanistan in August 2021, its systematic attacks on the rights of women and girls and the use of violence, including torture and enforced disappearances, have created a culture of fear in Afghan society. The Islamist Taliban has said women should not leave home without a male relative and must cover their faces, though some women in urban centers ignore the rule, while some women have been permitted to work in government offices. Western governments have said the group needs to reverse its course on women's rights for any part towards formal recognition of the Taliban government.